You're listening to the Shipyard Cat Podcast, the unofficial SAFC podcast for fans everywhere.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the pod. You're joined by myself, Adam, the host here today, and we're joined by Kev as well, because we're here today to discuss the up-and-coming away fixture. Sorry, not home. I wish it was home. Away fixture away to West Ham for that lovely, awful early kickoff of 12:30. So, as you can imagine, people, this is 12:30 in London. It's going to be horrific. Kev, how are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, got a bit of a cold, so sorry if I sound a bit groggy. Look, we've said it before. Football's for the fans. Sticking a 12:30 kickoff in the middle of London-ish on a Saturday. Thanks. It's just I don't like fixtures getting moved, at the best of times, but it's always us. It's always the teams in the north, and that's the northeast and the northwest that seem to get their fixtures moved about to the worst times.
Yeah.
It's never the London fit teams when they're playing each other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll wait and see what happens the week after when we play certain Arsenal. See if that gets moved. It hasn't yet, but you never know.
Yeah, I don't think they will move it because of it being kind of in that window. But obviously, we recently saw that they've now moved the Leeds game.
Yeah.
And they've moved the Newcastle game. Understandable, the Newcastle one, and that's not a distance to travel, but yeah, they just love moving our fixtures about.
Exactly. So, but yeah, let's get into it straight away. Obviously, we're playing West Ham away. The first fixture, so shall we say the home leg, we beat them quite comfortably 3-0 on the opening day of the season, to which surprised all of us, I would say, at the time, because obviously West Ham had just came off somewhat of a half decent season. They were struggling towards the end, but they still had a good up to end. Obviously, European Champions winners, things like that. So we know they're going to be a dangerous team. They have started coming in a little bit of form, to touch on Regis's words. They have won the last two games. One of them being against Spurs, who we drew against. What are we expecting? To me, physical, they're up for this game.
They will be. Obviously, Nuno's slowly started to turn the ship around, so to speak. Obviously the last minute winner by Callum Wilson, which is the most bizarre moment in football for that club, really, given they literally released him from his contract like 2 days before, but he was still a free agent, so they could still keep him. And then he comes on and scores the winner, which, is a massive 3 points for them because, as things stand, they are one of the teams that are in real danger. They're currently 18th on 17 points, looking up, and ahead of them is Nottingham Forest on 22. So even a win at the weekend, they're still going to sit in the bottom. If anything, they're at risk of getting caught by Burnley if they lose, and Burnley win. But yeah, Nuno's getting them turned around slowly. I think always the way, though, isn't it? It takes managers time sometimes to start establishing their football, their kind of management, what they want from players. But yeah, hopefully we have a repeat of the opposite fixture, if you know what I mean, and we just go down there and get the job done. We like London.
Yeah, exactly. The thing for me as well is you've got to look, there is quite a little bit of unrest within that core of a team as well. Like Paqueta, for example, I'm going to use him as the prime example. He knows how to talk himself into not just a yellow card, he knows how to talk himself into a red card. And likewise, I think he's been one of the main catalysts of them not performing as they should, shall we say? Because you've got the likes of Bowen, who's a die-hard West Ham lad. He wants to play week in, week out. He wants to do successful things. He wants to prove a point. Obviously, he's trying to prove father-in-law a point, shall we say, more than anything. But you've got that unbalance in that squad at the minute, haven't you? Whereas for, once again, touching on Regis's comments in the press conference, the cohesion we've got as a squad is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what you need. Obviously, the talk now of Plaqueta leaving has kind of dropped off a little bit. I get the impression that Flamengo are still looking at him. They've put an offer in, but at the moment it looks like the player's kind of happy to give them the season.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, like you say, Bowen doesn't want to be in a struggling side, so he's doing everything he can to try and turn the team around.
Mhm.
Um, and then you've got the likes of, as much as it pains me, Somerville, who's found his form. He's started assists and scoring. He's a tricky player. I would probably say he's a level above West Ham, but West Ham aren't in the same position as Palace, where the doors open and everyone's walking out the door. Do you know what I mean? West
Ex-
Ham seem to be able to hold on to a lot of their players. In fact, I believe they've made a couple of signings in the last week. So
Mhm.
yeah, they're trying to strengthen their team. And the conversation that's probably being had is come and join us because we're not getting relegated. We want to do everything. We need you to come and join us to help us get out of the bottom three,
Yeah.
and that will motivate some players.
Mhm. I was going to say, I know I watched an interview with Jared Bowen, and he was saying the fact being none of the club want to be here. None of the team want to be in this position. We're trying our best to fight it, get out of it, but it's just hard. And the lads know it's hard, and they just want to do everything they can, and they're trying to fight through the mist, shall we say? Because it is very strange, is a neutral wise for West Ham. It is strange to see West Ham that low in the table. You would expect them to be about mid-table team based on recent
Previous
years and
form.
stuff what they've
Yeah.
achieved. Um, Obviously, I'm going to touch on something what I want to talk about us a bit here because I want to touch on what James Copley put out. I think it was either yesterday or this afternoon in regards to the cohesion of us, and it's what I think is pivotal to talk about. And I would love to get your thoughts on this if you've seen it. Is some sort reliable source, don't know if it's red or brown source, has came in and told him that the cohesion in the football club is not just at the football club. It's from kickoff to behind the scenes, everything like that. Granit Xhaka is coming into the club day in, day out to either go and see the under 21s play, the under 18s play. He knows all of them by first name. And what he does is he comes and greets them all and gives them effectively lectures. And in doing that, from what I understand, he's helped O9 become more confident doing it. And O9's given helping out, I think, is it what's his name for the under 21s? I do apologize, the coach's name.
Murdy?
Um, yeah, but I think he's helping him. Like he's given obviously sitting with them, giving coaching advice, and then the likes of Simon Moore helping the younger keepers, probably still helping Pato, still helping Roofs with the confidence what it's like to be a goalkeeper at such a big club and the pressures and stuff like that you're going to face. Then all the way to Enzo Lefebvre. I've recently found that Enzo Lefebvre has taken upon himself now to go. I've been here a little bit of time now. I've struggled in a big club such as Roma. I had my effectively, his big break was coming to us in the championship. Still to this day, I've said to you and Robin off pod, how on earth we managed to sign my golden boy, I do not know in the championship of all things. But we got him and he's reaped the rewards, so it's perfect for us. And the last one I heard was Mukiele. Mukele's been that wise head that he's been playing that top level football for PSG. He came over to us and went, right, this is what happens. This is what you can do. This is what thing. And it's just the whole ethos in the club now. I think that's what makes this team the best it can be. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I think it's just incredible.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely the right sort of mentality that runs through the core of the squad. Um, I think it's just we've started to recently hear more about it, if that makes sense. I think there's a lot of that already gone on for probably the last year,
Yeah.
through the Championship and into the Premier League. But I think it's just more vocalized now. The press conferences, they aren't five journalists anymore. You've got a room of 20,
Yeah.
and they've gone from being 5 minutes with, you know, Tony Mowbray eating revels on the table to 15 minutes of question and answers. You watch Regis in his press conferences and he's answering, I think, brilliantly.
Mhm.
Whilst he's not giving away any trade secrets, because why would he? He's giving the answers that we need to know. He was asked today about Wilson. Is he going
Yeah.
to, there are interested clubs and things, and, can you manage with two strikers? And Regis's answer was basically, no, with the setup we've got now, he's good.
Mhm.
Like, that's, in my opinion, that's his way of saying, no, I need the three I've got, thank you.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
yeah, it's difficult. You hear rumors and murmurings all the time, but yeah, I like Regis as a manager. Everything he's kind of like coach, everything he's brought in, it just bleeds core values. The likes of Xhaka coming in, we all know his ambitions is probably to be a coach of some sort himself.
Mhm.
So he's probably spending a lot of time with Regis and Proctor and Ali in seeing how they do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if what's been said there about him spending time with some of the other parts of the team in terms of the under 18s, under 21s. I would believe it to be true because, there's been people that have said there are unders games that happen at Eccleston or at the Stadium of Light and he's there. So yeah, I think he is he's laying the groundwork in for his future as well.
Mhm.
And good on him.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's probably partly one of the things Kirill said to him was come here, finish your coaching badges and everything else, and learn to be part of a team that might not have it easy.
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of not been as bad as he thought it might have been, but yeah, I get the impression that's probably a massive part of it. For me, I think Xhaka is still the signing of the season.
Yeah.
Um, I think Robbie's proven find a club that loves you and the confidence comes out. That he's only probably still young in my opinion, and he just looks like he's seen things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
His time at Ajax was very troubled, and you can just see now when he is on the pitch for us,
Mhm.
the confidence is growing in him, getting those
Yeah.
goals. I mean, I don't think the lad's scored an easy goal yet.
No, definitely not.
And these are all things that getting stuck in
Mhm.
probably mean the world to everybody around him. And that's one of the reasons why, going back round to the sort of Wilson conversation, the lad's in a lull of form for other reasons. Well, actually, why not put him in the mix against West Ham and go, look, what you did at the start of the season? Go back
Yeah.
to being the Wilson that was in October. The
Exactly.
guy,
Yeah.
the lad had, was it 4 goals before like the end of October?
Yeah.
And it's been a bit of a dry spell since. Well, that's because of the lack of confidence.
Mhm.
So yeah, my fear would be if he went elsewhere, he potentially wouldn't. Well, he might drop down the pecking order, but also the lad's been on journeys before that didn't work out, and he came to Sunderland to kind of find his love for football again.
And that's the thing, isn't it? That it won't just be, I think if he did go, it won't be just himself upset. Obviously, there'll be fans upset as well because obviously he became kind of a cult hero, shall we say, within the core of the club. Obviously, he wouldn't know it's business at the end of the day. If he had to go, he had to go. Um, but I generally don't, I don't see him going. I think potentially based on the little knock to Robbie in the latter after he got his goal the other week. I think possibly that may be, as you said there, Isidore's chance to go, right, Wilson, come on, go out, do what you do best. Run on the end of the balls, finish them. And I think everyone says yes, he's on this bit of a lull of stuff and he's low on confidence. I still think he's got it in his locker. If a ball comes to him, he's still got a rocket. He can still run with the ball. He knows where the back of the net is. He's not going to be fluffing his line, shall we say, on a chance. He will take it wherever he can, and he'll possibly still finish it. Because that was going to lead on to what I was going to say there. Would you start Wilson over Bobby this weekend, just to say to Bobby, give yourself a little bit of a rest, bring him on, say 60, 70 minutes again, just when you need that bit of physicality towards the end of the game, if it's a possibly a 1-1 or something, you want that bit of physicality, the hold up play and stuff like that, or would you stick to Robbie due to his form at the minute?
It's hard to consider a reason to drop Robbie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's proved time and time again now what he can bring to the game. I think that little bit of extra physicality that he carries is good because it is wearing opposition teams down.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I sort of felt in the Palace game really showed when he's wrestling two defenders. He's opening the door for other players to then get the opportunity in. So no, I would probably still start Robbie. And then, yeah, I would potentially bring in a second striker to either join him or once they're worn down, bring them on as a fresh pair of legs and carry that extra threat. And yeah, I would just like it to be an opportunity for Wilson to get that confidence back. That's one thing I would say with the London Stadium is it's not the greatest for atmosphere because of it being an Olympic stadium. I'm not denying the size of it, it's massive, but it's got the whole problem of the fans are so far away from the pitch that the atmosphere does get lost. I think the other problem you've got is obviously their fans are planning to stage a 15-minute protest where they're not going to go into the stands until the 15th minute. I know they've been asking our fans to do the same. Please don't. Please be there from the first minute and let's go and get a goal or two in the first 15 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And then give their fans something to walk into. Yeah. So I know Nuno's been doing a rally cry saying we need you there from the first minute. We need you to be loud. We need you to help the team. We need you to be the 12th man. But for me, I think we need to go down there and kind of just treat this as another Wembley trip, another London trip. We're used to that journey now. And do you know what? I would almost be tempted to say the club needs to push that as the narrative of unbeaten in London.
Yeah.
Keep pushing that because it seems to work. Chelsea's prime example. Games that we've had where, we've gone to London, we've probably been the underdog and we've come away with something. So, yeah, why not make this another one of those kind of results?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you massively on that there. Let's just briefly touch on the fact being that now we have potentially in contention and they have been in training today, which Emzadine Talbi is back. I believe he did have yesterday off. Not due to not just the fact being obviously he just came back from the AFCON final. I think it was more on the personal level of how the game went and things like that. He's only young. Yes, he didn't play much football, but whether you're young or you're a seasoned veteran for an international club, something like that can have a big effect on you. So I think the club will just get him in, but like it's okay. These things happen, so to speak, and talk him through it. And then obviously Habib Diarra is back as well. Both have been spoken about by Regis saying both potentially could be in contention to come in. So that'd be good to see. I think if it did happen, I do think we'll go down three back in the midfield of Diarra, Siddiqui, and Xhaka. I think it'll go straight back to normal. And then possibly, I would say with Talby, I would use him possibly as a sub, as a power sub, because the fact being Mundle's done nothing wrong at the minute.
No, definitely. And when a player's in confident form, the last thing you want to do is drop them because you'll kill their confidence. I think both of them will probably be on the bench to start. I can't see them coming straight into the first team. In part of the journeys they've just done in terms of coming back from AFCON, but also, yeah, they've seen their teams go through what was a very long final.
Exactly.
Yes, okay, neither of them played, but emotionally, that will have been an absolute roller coaster. And obviously, yeah, they're back at the stadium, back at the training ground today. They've been training, they're back in with the lads. But yeah, they're probably best off coming on as substitutes and having an impact on the game. If we can be a goal or two up, be an opportunity, like I said a minute ago, to bring on the likes of Wilson and say, go and have some fun. If
Yeah,
Dan Neil's still around, saying to him, go and get a game in go and get some minutes in the Prem. I do feel for the lad. He's had 14 minutes this season.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You've got to think these are probably players that are on the outskirts looking in, thinking, what about me? And that's where, Regis has said so much in his press conference. We're working hard on building the squad. We are still looking at bringing people in,
hmm
but we are also being respectful to the players that aren't getting minutes to try and get them minutes in
yeah,
some way, shape, or form. That's why if you look at the game against Dortmund the other night, you had Sirkin, '09, Gertrudia all featuring
yeah,
because they need minutes.
exactly. Yeah,
But
they just need to keep that fitness up, don't they? So it's going to be one of those things. Touching on Diarra, I would love to know if he's got the AFCON trophy in there because he came on that video package today. Just two very full suitcases by the looks of it. I just brought trinkets back, or he has got the trophy in there just hidden away.
I don't know. It'll probably have I don't know if they travel straight from sort of, well, I guess they would have flown into London and then it's sort of back up here and it'll have
Yeah,
been straight into training, talk about the game that's coming up, maybe do a bit of watching the tape, so to speak.
yeah,
It's all sort of things that happen, isn't it? And probably a little bit of celebration with his teammates. Regis did joke about the fact that the two of them are back in training, sat near each other, and they're still friends. They still get along.
yeah,
But yeah, for me, I think the priority for Diarra is probably come home and then get himself ready to pack his suitcase and head back down the motorway.
exactly. Yeah, all busy, busy. I don't think we've got anything really else much to cover on really. But throwing out some predictions, obviously, as people can clearly tell there's been no Robin tonight, so there's been no segues into different things or other bits of information. Obviously, Robin will be hopefully back with us on the review. He's just a little bit not well at the moment, so we wish him the best and hopefully he'll be back with us. His prediction, though, Kev, if I'm right in thinking he texted it into us, was 3-1. So he's got the number 3 on his mind again. Uh, Kev, what's your prediction for this weekend, mate?
I think 2-0 down there.
All right.
I think clean sheet. I think Roos is still full of confidence. I just think we're going to treat this like the home fixture. I think we're just going to try and shut them out. Um, keeping Somerville and Bowen quiet is our priority.
Yeah.
And if we can manage to achieve that, then I think it's 3 points in the bag and head back up the motorway, ready
Yeah.
for Burnley on the
Monday.
following Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's what it is for me. I think it's all about we're pushing towards that 40 points now. What are we on 33?
Yeah.
You know, Regis was asked about that in the press conference today. It was, obviously you've mentioned 40 points and Regis basically went, I'm not setting targets. We're not there yet. We're 33, there's
Exactly.
still some to go. I suspect once he hits 40, it'll then be right, where can we go from here? Is it
Yeah,
50?
exactly. Yeah. See
But
what you can achieve effectively, isn't it?
any look, let's be honest, for any Sunderland fan listening at the start of the season, staying out of the bottom three all season was probably the objective.
Exactly. Yeah.
To be trying to sit in the top three, guys, let's not get carried away.
Well, Davey said, "Let's get carried away, man." So we
We
might as
did.
well. For me, prediction wise, I'm going to stick to the same rough ideas from the first game of the season, 3-0. I think we've got it in us to do it, and it's going to help massively with the goal difference. I think that's the big. I do agree with what Robin said last week. It is touching on the base of some of these games are going to be crunch games coming up, and the likes of this, you want to put them to bed early. You want to get a big scoreline, so if you can get a comfortable 2 or a comfortable 3-0, do it. Get those points on the board, get that goal difference back up. Because if it comes to the end of the season, with a chance to get into Europe, for example, and it's on goal difference, we want to be that goal difference that's above.
Well, exactly that, and you've got to do everything you can to try and do those little things. This is what I said the other day when I said about trying to avoid too many more draws. I
Yeah.
saw a thing the other day where someone was like, "Oh, Sunderland haven't won in 5 games." This was before Palace, and it's like, yeah, we haven't won in 5 games, but we also have only lost one. Like, what's the harm in drawing games when you think about the fixtures we had? The teams we faced, and also the fact that we were in that sort of AFCON period of losing key players. We got points when we were predicted to get none.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, I think like you've just said there, let's go down to West Ham. Let's go and get 3 points. Like you say, if we can bag some goals to help put the positive goal difference on, because I think at the minute we're on like a neutral goal difference. I think we're on nil.
I think we're on nil, yeah.
I know Robin would have thrown exactly what we were on, but yeah, I'm sure we're on either +1 or 0. We're not on a negative.
Yeah.
I think, goals conceded, we're actually one of the top teams in the division because when we are conceding, it's like 1 goal. I know we have said a couple of 3-0s, but yeah, generally, speaking, we're doing all right.
Yeah, exactly. So let's push on then. Thanks to everyone listening in. It does mean a lot that everyone does take the time to listen in. As remember, guys, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Because I did a little deep dive search on us, and I found us we're even appearing on Amazon as well. So there you go. If you got your own Alexas, hammer at it. Probably just set yours off, Kev.
Probably, mate. Probably. I mean, look, I just want to say thank you to everyone, in fairness, that has been supporting the page and all of our socials, because the TikTok I put on the other night, my phone has been on fire. That one video alone of the intro, the hype video.
Yeah.
That's currently sitting on 19,000 views and over 2,000 likes. So to all of you that have liked it, shared it, commented on it, thank you. It was one of those moments where it was like, okay, it's actually worth doing some of these, because I don't know if any of you do TikTok that listen to this. Sometimes you can make a video that you think is amazing and it'll get 500 views and you'll be like, oh, I get TikTok are trying to get you to pay to promote. And this one we genuinely didn't. And yeah, it's sitting on just shy of 20,000 views is phenomenal. So thank you.
Yeah, 100%. I just throw them on the pod as well, guys.
Exactly.
But no. Anyway, though, thanks, Kev, for joining me. It is much appreciated there.
Yeah, my pleasure, mate. And like I say, sorry to our listeners that have had to listen to this. Hopefully next week I'll have got rid of the man flu.
That's all right. You can sound like Darth Vader now and again, so it's fine.
Hey, there's probably people that would pay for this kind of voice.
Exactly. A voice for radio.
Definitely.
But anyways, thanks again, mate. It's much appreciated. As ever, everyone, we'll see you on the next one.